In Russia, 7 trucks fall through an ice crossing. Rescuers pull 6 off the vehicles while the others submerged completely. More details on this later in the news. Good evening. I am Ricky Mathay. This is Mata ng Agila International. And now for the headlines. Philippines and China to implement agreed tariff rates this June. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to strengthen national and local government partnership. Kim Jong-un prepares North Korea's first spy satellite. And actor Johnny Depp cements comeback in Cannes 2023. The Philippines and China have agreed to implement a tariff rate under the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP. Mean Corvera for the report.
Starting June 2 of this year, the Philippines and China will adopt agreed tariff rates under the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. The Philippines deposited its instrument of ratification of RCEP agreement to the Secretary-General last April 3 and will take effect on June 2. Participating countries of the pact are 10 ASEAN members: Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, and South Korea. After 8 years of negotiations, RCEP first went into force for 10 members last year. South Korea and Malaysia followed the bloc. Earlier this year, Indonesia officially entered the trade agreement. With the Philippines coming in, trade analyst says this means all 15 RCEP members will complete the entry into force procedure next month. RCEP is often dubbed as the world's biggest trading pact. Finance data says RCEP covers a market of 2.2 billion people, or almost 30% of the world's population. These figures tallies to a combined gross domestic product of $26.2 trillion, or about 30% of global GDP. Economists believe RCEP will boost trade among Asia-Pacific members amid difficult global economic trade this year. Chinese official data shows Beijing's total trade with 14 RCEP members grew by 7.3% during the first quarter of 2023. Analyst says the deal guarantees trade openness as more than 90% of trade in goods covered will achieve zero tariffs. Some experts assert RCEP's next goal should be implementation of free trade rules and intra-regional trade exchanges. Mean Corvera for Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
As tensions between Taiwan and mainland China escalate, Taiwanese Parliament Speaker Yu Si-kun praised the Philippines, Japan, and South Korea for creating a crescent of defense against China. J.D. Mahinay for the report.
Taiwan's Parliament Speaker Yu Si-kun praised the Philippines, Japan, and South Korea for creating a crescent of defense against China. He lauded President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for granting the United States access to Philippine military bases. Speaker Yu said this was a defensive measure that will be useful if China were to attack Taiwan. He praised Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and President Yoon Suk-yeol for calling Taiwan a global issue. He also thanked the two leaders for opposing a change to the status quo by force. He said that the crescent of defense formed by the Philippines, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and the U.S. is a key stabilizer of peace and security in the Indo-Pacific region. Speaker Yu argued Chinese leader Xi Jinping saw Taiwan as a stepping stone toward global hegemony. He explained China wanted to see the East rise and the West to decline. He stated protecting Taiwan equates to defending both Europe and the US. Speaker Yu belongs to Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, but sources say he does not speak for President Tsai Ing-wen. China has not responded to the Taiwanese speaker's remarks. JD Mahina reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
The Philippine Navy is ready to defend the country's territory through their patrol missions using the BRP Sierra Madre in the Ayungin Shoal. According to the Philippine Navy Chief of Naval Staff Rear Admiral Jose Maria Ambrosio Ezpeleta, their patrol missions will not cease. The Philippine Navy is currently verifying reports whether to pull out BRP Sierra Madre in the Ayungin Shoal.
We look at the history of it. Kaya tayo napilitan maglagay ng barko doon is because China started claiming.
Last 2014, China previously insisted that BRP Sierra Madre leave the Ayungin Shoal. BRP Sierra Madre remained at the shoal for 24 years, along with the approaching celebration of the 125th anniversary of the Philippine Navy. The Philippine Navy has over 30 air assets and more than 60 ships. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. urges local officials to strengthen its ties with the national and local governments. Edna Santos for the report.
During the oath-taking ceremony for the newly elected officers of the Provincial Board Members League of the Philippines or PBMLP in Malacanang, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. emphasizes that both the national government and local government units or LGUs should assist in developing various programs to support Filipinos. President Marcos adds that the administration is balancing the local government autonomy, enabling them to work with the national government. The president vows to assist local governments, particularly municipalities. This measure improves their capacity as national government, delegates in facilitating the role of LGUs as per the Mandanas ruling of the Supreme Court. Last March, the president instructed government agencies to study Executive Order Number 138 for viable amendments if national government functions should be delegated to the LGU under Supreme Court's Mandanas ruling.
For 35 years, the PBMLP has been a stalwart partner in our conduct of good governance and of the exercise of meaningful local autonomy, guiding provincial legislation, both the novice and the experienced, towards the implementation of best practices and to achieve the excellence of public service.
Eden Santos reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
The Department of Foreign Affairs is set to promote the vital role of a rule-based global order within the country. Madeline Villar Moratillo has the details.
During the Munich leaders meeting in Japan, Secretary of Foreign Affairs Enrique Manalo says that the Philippines recognizes the importance of equitable rules in governing the country's domains. This includes the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the Convention on Biological Diversity, and the future Treaty on the High Seas. Secretary Manalo notes that the rule of law ensures equity in the global commons. He adds that the country is striving to establish multilateralism to be more constructive, inclusive, and equitable to promote fair governance of the maritime commons. Manalo claims that the Philippines is transitioning to attaining the upper middle income country status and is predicted to become the 16th largest economy in the world by 2040. The leaders meeting aims to link European and American leaders with their counterparts in the Indo-Pacific region to share ideas on how to provide support for regional and global stability. Madeline Villar Moratillo reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Meanwhile, airport operations in the Philippines have resumed to normal after a 2-hour airspace shutdown. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, said the shutdown was held from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. this Wednesday. CAAP explained they replaced their airspace management system's uninterruptible power supply. The corrective maintenance was to prevent possible power supply breakdowns in the future. CAAP said no flights were affected during the shutdown. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP Secretary Ronald Concepcion, claims that China has no remote access to the transmission grids in the country amid fears that it can cut power across the nation. Secretary Concepcion made the statement during a hearing with the Senate Committee on Energy, led by its chairperson, Senator Rafi Tulfo. Concepcion reveals that the State Grid Corporation of China owns a 40% stake in the NGCP, while the remaining 60% are from Filipino consortiums. Senator Tulfo claims that this poses a threat to national security in the country. He adds that according to his previous intelligence, the NGCP employees, such as engineers and technicians, were mostly Chinese nationals. Malacanang says that the government will take back control of the NGCP. Senator Rafi Tulfo asserts the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee to investigate possible corruption in the National Irrigation Administration due to unfinished irrigation projects. Senator Tulfo says that from 2019 to 2022, the fund allocated to NIA for irrigation development and restoration projects has reached 121 billion pesos. From the documents received by his office, the contractors were paid, but the projects remain unfinished and the irrigations are not even working.
Mas matindi pa, ilan dito ay hindi man lang umaandar, gumagana, kahit taon na ang lumipas mula nang nabigyan ng notice to proceed. 19 billion para sa taong 2024.
Senator Tulfo unveiled some of NIA's contractors which won multi-million contracts. Among the named contractors were Oscar Sarmiento Construction, RD Interior Junior Construction, JD Construction and Supply, and Brosland Construction. He adds that there are also blacklisted contractors who continue to receive projects from NIA after changing their names. The legislator also identified some alleged ghost projects in Mindanao. Senator Tulfo says the government funded the project with about 890 million pesos, which has yet to begin.
Yung Macalelon Reservoir na yan, 10.58% completed since 2015. 2023 na po ngayon. Since 2015 po, inumpisahan yung proyekto, 10% pa lamang po ang nabubuo. 90% po ay nakatiwangwang pa lamang. Hinihintay po siguro magputi ang uwak bago matapos ang proyekto. Target completion po nito supposed to be 2019. Pero again, ngayon po ay 2023 na.
According to the Central Republic Act 10969, or the Free Irrigation Service Act, was passed to provide farmers free water when there is available irrigation. The Senate aims to form a tracker team to inspect all NIA projects. The tracker team will check if the projects are progressing or if the irrigation projects remain on the drawing board.
How we can ask, we can verify, no? Ito mga agencies na ito using our personnel to do a bit of fact checking. Para pagdating sa budget, 'di ba? Nandiyan ba yung proyekto? Pag hindi nagawa yung proyekto, sandali, ba't ka hihingi ulit ng 40 billion? Hindi pa tapos yung proyekto mo. That means yung absorptive capacity nila ay zero or napakababa. That means we should not be giving them more funds.
Coming up, King Jong-un inspects Pyongyang's first military spy satellite. President Joe Biden cuts Asia-Pacific tour for U.S. debt talks. And Twitter under fire for blocking certain tweets ahead of Turkey election. Stay tuned for more stories from around the globe when we return.
ba ang estado ng ating mga manggagawa sa ibang bansa?
Pagpunta ko naman dito, hindi naman ako agad nakapagtrabaho. So, siguro mga 1 taong ganon nga.
Tapos po, yun po yung sobrang miss nila yung family nila. Yun, doon po pumapasok yung mental sickness po. Kung madadagdagan pa po sa work area nila, doon nagkakapatong-patong.
Nakakayaman pa ba ang magtrabaho abroad?
Bago pa lamang kayo magplano maging OFW, magpaplano na rin kayo kung kailan kayo uuwi. Pagdating sa Pilipinas, wala na mapapasukan na trabaho, hindi makakapagsimula ng negosyo.
Pangarap pa rin po ba ng mga Pinoy ang maging OFW? Mag-reality check tayo.
Ay, sir, pero may mga checklist na po ako. ID, bank statement, yearbook, diary. Hindi pwede na po natin dito sa
Hindi na kailangan. Lumabas na si baby.
Totoo ba na nagka-something kayo ni... Sige po, i-reveal ko na. Anong hayop ang iyak tawa? Ano? Unggoy. Bakit?
Welcome back to Mata ng Agila International. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un inspected their country's first military spy satellite. Kim met with a non-permanent satellite launch preparatory committee before viewing the satellite. He also gave the go signal for its future action plan. A month ago, Kim said the construction of the satellite was completed and gave the green light for its launch. After acquainting in detail with the work of the committee, the military reconnaissance satellite number 1 is ready for loading. The development of a military reconnaissance satellite was one of the key defense projects outlined by Kim in 2021. Pyongyang has not provided a launch date. Russia claims their high-precision strike hit a United States-made Patriot air defense missile system in Kyiv. Washington officials now are assessing the damage to their weapons. Insiders say Kremlin's Kinzhal hypersonic missile system likely damaged the Patriot systems. Another source claims Washington and Kyiv are talking about the best way to repair the U.S. weapon. War analysts consider the Patriot as one of the most advanced U.S. air defense systems. The defense system typically includes launchers along with radar and other support vehicles. But some analysts believe Russia has found a way to stop America's Patriot system. United States President Joe Biden and Republican leaders resume high-stakes talks to avert a catastrophic debt default. The White House says the president may have to cut short an upcoming Asia tour to tackle the crisis. Crisan Fragata has more.
The White House says President Joe Biden is reevaluating his Asia trip plans due to the ongoing debt talks stalemate. The president, however, still intends to attend a G7 summit in Tokyo. Biden and Republican leaders have accused each other of failing to take the default threat seriously ahead of the talks. The Treasury warns of catastrophic consequences if the U.S. runs out of cash to pay its bills. This would leave it unable to pay federal workers and trigger a likely surge in interest rates with knock-on effects for businesses and mortgage holders, including financial markets around the world. The two parties remain sharply divided on the issue. Democrats have been calling for a clean increase of the borrowing limit with no strings attached. Republicans insist Biden agree to significant spending cuts in exchange for their support to raise the debt ceiling. With the deadline for agreement just days away, top Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says much work remains in negotiations.
I think we set the stage to carry on further conversations. You know, we only have 15 days really to go. We've got to find a way that we can curve our spending, raise our debt limit, and also grow our economy. And the president agreed to appoint a couple people from his administration to sit down and negotiate directly with my team, so I found that to be productive personally. But we've got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time.
Chris Vergara for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Former British Prime Minister Liz Truss stressed that Taiwan and its allies must take a stand against Beijing. She urged democratic countries to cite sanctions and other repercussions if it makes advances on Taiwan. Truss also told reporters that the Asia-Pacific needs a more formal NATO-style security alliance, unlike their current pacts such as AUKUS and the Quad. She also called on the G7 and European Union to work together in applying economic pressure on China to stifle the country's bullying and coercion of smaller countries.
This is because there are still too many in the West who are trying to cling on to the idea that we can somehow cooperate with China on issues like climate change as if there's nothing wrong.
Several staunch critics called the former PM's act of calling out the emerging superpower as a dangerous game. China's London embassy described the visit as a dangerous political showing and accused Truss of colluding with those in Taiwan. The embassy also suggested that the visit could have repercussions for the government of current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak.
Without freedom and democracy, there is nothing else. We know what happens to the environment or to world health under totalitarian regimes that don't tell the truth. You can't believe a word they say.
In other news, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak tackled Europe's existing border issues at the recent European summit in Iceland. We have Randy Bernardino with the details.
The United Kingdom and European Union agreed to build a new working arrangement to strengthen cooperation on migration at the European Summit. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen underlined a mutual interest in tackling cross-border crime and migrant smuggling all across Europe. The arrangement would see British agencies working with Frontex, the EU border force. The British PM had pushed to make migration a key topic at the summit in Reykjavik, warning leaders that the current international system for policing human trafficking is not working. Sunak cited Winston Churchill as one of the founding fathers of the organization, who helped uphold its values of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. People trafficking came up in the Prime Minister's bilateral meeting with Dutch leader Mark Rutte. They both agreed to help tackle the problem by working together, both bilaterally and through forums such as the European Political Community. Sunak's Conservative administration attempts to pass into law measures designed to stop asylum seekers crossing the English Channel in small boats. The illegal migration bill aims to send asylum seekers who arrive in Britain via unauthorized routes back to their home countries or to a third country such as Rwanda. This measure could also cut the daily £5.5 million cost of housing migrants who make it to the UK.
We have another deal with Albania, where we've now sent over 8,000 illegal migrants from Albania back to Albania as a result of the new deal that I concluded at the end of last year. That's already working, and I'll be having further conversations like that with other European partners today to strengthen our cooperation.
Randy Bernardino for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Twitter's decision to block certain content in Turkey a day before its elections is considered a big misstep by Wikipedia founder Jimmy Wales. He believed the tech sector should stand together in defending freedom of information. Twitter's owner Elon Musk said the measure had come after Turkey had threatened to block the whole website. In 2014, Turkish President Recep Erdogan did that exactly, vowing to wipe out the social media network after corruption allegations about his administration surfaced on the platform. Wikipedia was also banned in Turkey for almost 3 years after refusing to delete articles that criticize the Turkish government. Turkey's election will be decided in a runoff later this month after no clear winner emerged from the weekend's voting. Ecuadorian President Guillermo Lasso attends his impeachment trial before the National Congress in Quito. His supporters, as well as his opponents, gathered outside. Some are there to watch the trial on a giant screen, while others to express their disapproval of the Ecuadorian leader. The right-wing president is accused by his critics of wrongdoing in a state contract to transport crude oil. Lasso declares his total, evident, and unquestionable innocence. The chamber would need a two-thirds majority, 92 out of 137 members, to impeach Lasso. His impeachment trial is taking place amid a spike in violence related to drug trafficking and widespread anger over the rising cost of living. Tunisian Ennahda party leader reached Ganapucci has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for labeling police officers as tyrants. His supporters called Tuesday's sentencing a sham trial. The founder of the Ennahda party refused to be removed from his place of detention for questioning or even to attend a Monday trial. Ghanouchi, a former Speaker of Parliament, is the most prominent critic of Tunisian President Kais Saied. The former Speaker was summoned in mid-April on charges of insubordination and plotting against the security of the state. He has been called in for questioning numerous times on various issues, but this is the first time he has been detained.
أنا ما جيتش رئاسة المجلس على ظهري دبابة، جيت بعد اختبار وراء اختبار، وبالتالي مانيش خايف على نفسي. ما هوش مشكل لو أني لم يقع اختياري، ما كانش تم مشكل لأنه.
Up next, German court sentences 5 gang members to prison after robbing 18th century jewels. Gunmen attack a U.S. convoy in Nigeria. And Arnold Schwarzenegger calls for urgent action on the climate emergency. Please don't go away. We've got more stories when Mata ng Agila International returns.
Susunod sa Counterpoint, nakakasama natin ang power couple ng Eternitas Chapels. Ano ba itong death care services at bakit mahalaga na paghandaan ito? How in the world can this country be friends to all and enemies to none when we are hostage? We are bound by the Mutual Defense Treaty. Ngayong Miyerkules, alas 10:30 ng gabi dito sa Net 25. Abangan.
This
Canada experiences an unpleasant economic surprise this week. Statistics Canada reported that the country's inflation rate has risen for the first time in 10 months. Thomas Likeness has the report.
The increase is only slight, just 0.1%. Inflation in April stood at 4.4%. Whether it will trigger another increase in the Bank of Canada's key interest rate is hard to say, but one thing for sure, the central bank will be keeping a close eye on prices. So how is the average Canadian affected? Well, housing costs have gone up. That's because mortgage rates and rents are higher. Prices at the gas pumps are up as well. So is the cost of vehicles. At the grocery store, shoppers would have noticed smaller price increases for things like fresh vegetables, coffee, and tea, but that has been offset by steep increases for fresh fruit. Economists are split on whether the increase is just a blip or whether it's a sign that another interest rate hike is needed to tame inflation. Canada's central bank will decide in early June whether another increase is warranted. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness for Matanang Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Prince Harry seeks a legal challenge against the Home Office over his United Kingdom security arrangements. Harry and his wife Meghan abdicated their royal duties and moved to California in 2020. The Home Office decided that Harry would cease receiving personal police security while in Britain. The decision also denied him the right to pay for police protection in UK. Harry's lawyer argues the prince does not feel safe bringing his children in London without police security. The court is expected to rule today. Italian police seized more than 2,700 kilos, or about 3 tons of cocaine, hidden in 70 tons of boxed bananas shipped from Ecuador. With the help of a well-trained canine, police estimated that the drug could have brought traffickers more than $800 million in street sales if it reached its destination in Armenia. Officers used scanning machines and a dog to uncover packets of cocaine hidden in boxes stacked meters high in container trucks. They did not specify when the container ship arrived in Joyatoro. Anti-mafia investigative police aided in the seizure of the cocaine. Since the start of 2021, Customs Police at the port have intercepted and seized a total of 37 tons of cocaine. A German court sentenced 5 gang members in prison for 6 years after snatching priceless 18th century jewels. The thieves made off a haul worth more than 130 million euros, or that's 123 million US dollars, from the Green Vault Museum in 2019. The convicted men are members of the Remo clan, an extended family mostly based in Berlin, known for a web of ties to organized crime in Germany. The court handed down 3 sentences ranging from 4 years and 4 months to 6 years and 2 months for armed robbery, aggravated arson, and grievous bodily harm for the heist. They found that the defendant slipped into the museum through previously damaged bars on a window. Perpetrators reportedly smashed the display case with an axe and grabbed 21 pieces decorated with 4,300 jewels in less than 5 minutes. Although many of the historic pieces were recovered, some were badly damaged. Some are still missing, including a brooch that belonged to Queen Amalie August of Saxony. In Kenya, as more bodies of the Shakahola massacre victims have been exhumed, police made more arrests related to the investigation. Jane Kathleen Gregorio tells us more.
Kenya exhumes more bodies of Shakahola massacre victims as police make 4 more arrests connected to the investigation. Commissioner Rhoda Onyancha says 3 more people were rescued in critical condition. They were rushed to hospital. She says the forensics team exhumed 10 more bodies. This brings the total dead to 211. The discovery of the mass graves in Shakahola Forest near the coastal town of Malindi has shocked Kenyans. Cult leader Paul Mackenzie Nethenghe now faces terrorism charges is accused of driving his followers to death by preaching that starvation was the only path to God. Jane Kathleen Gregorio for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Gunmen attacked an American convoy in Nigeria and left 4 people dead and abducted 3 others. The attack took place along Atani-Osamale Road in Ogbaru District on Tuesday afternoon. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said that no United States citizens were involved nor hurt. The gunmen murdered 2 of the police mobile force operatives and 2 Nigerian staffers of the U.S. consulate. As joint security forces were deployed to the scene, the gunmen managed to abduct 2 police operatives and a driver. A rescue operation is underway. Nigerian officials often blame the attacks on the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra movement, or IPOB. The IPOB has repeatedly denied responsibility for the violence. Violence is just one of the many issues President-elect Bola Tinubu is facing. The military is also battling a 14-year-old jihadist insurgency in northeastern Nigeria and local kidnapping gangs in the northwest and central state of the country. As the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions ease, the increase in air travel remains good for commercial airlines. For passengers, however, the surge in lost baggages is not. Rochelle Feria has a report.
Things are looking up for the air travel industry. Many pandemic restrictions have ended, borders have reopened. As a result, passengers have returned to the skies. However, a recent study shows one thing that has suffered is the handling of passengers' baggage. The report by SITA, an IT provider for the air transport industry, says worldwide 7.6 bags per 1,000 passengers were mishandled in 2022. That's a 74.7% increase from the previous year. In actual pieces of baggage, that equates to 26 million bags mishandled in 2022 compared to 9.9 million in 2021. There was also a 42% increase in bags delayed at transfer. According to the report, the surge follows more than a decade of reduction in the rate of mishandled luggage. The study also says in addition to the resumption of international travel, the shortage of skilled staff contributed to the drastic increase in mishandled baggage. From Washington, D.C., Rosel Feria for Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
In Russia, 7 trucks fall through the frozen expanse. Rescuers pulled 6 of the vehicles while the others submerged completely. Sources say the trucks were traveling from Yakutsk to Chokurty. Authorities closed the ice crossing after the trucks are finished salvaged. Meanwhile, in Mexico, authorities temporarily halt the subway line after a chicken got loose on the tracks. Maintenance personnel and civil defense officers had a hard time chasing the bird around the tracks with brooms, gloves, and even a trash bag. After several attempts to capture, one worker tossed his coat over the bird. The metro system says the service was restored after the incident. And in Sudan, amid food shortage and the rising prices of goods, vendors and farmers are caught in the crossfire of the civil war. Arlino Campo tells us more.
Sudanese farmers harvest crops in the Al-Kala region in the Nile River state. Street vendors in Kassala Central Market sell vegetables and fruits. Farmers and vendors in the region face the effects of the ongoing fighting in the country. This amid high prices, fuel shortages, and dire living conditions. Petrol is not available, thus vendors cannot sell their vegetables because they cannot be transported. Farmers say politicians have failed the country. All they hope now is for the war to end, something many say remains elusive. Arlino Campo for Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
In Vienna, climate activist Arnold Schwarzenegger warns that lives depend on tackling the global climate emergency. Anna Kui has the details.
At an environmental summit in Vienna, the Austrian-born actor and former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, calls for urgent action on the climate emergency. Schwarzenegger says change is not easy, but lives depend on tackling the issue.
I call on all my environmentalist friends to move past the old ways and to embrace the new environmentalism based on clean energy growth. I call for change. Change is never easy, but this is an emergency, and this emergency demands action. Lives depend on it.
Seven-time Mr. Olympia champion and widely recognized as one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, founded and hosts the annual Austrian World Summit that started in 2017. The summit's goal? To bring together a broad coalition for climate action. Anna Cui for mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Coming right up, ChatGPT's Altman pleads U.S. Senate for artificial intelligence regulations. The Denver Nuggets win Game 1 of the West Semis against the LA Lakers. And Johnny Depp marks celebrity comeback with Cannes opening film. Catch the latest in business, sports, and entertainment when Mata ng Agila International returns.
Cable TV business is about delivering quality of service. If you make your subscribers happy, you will stay and you will grow.
Sa gathering na to, sa PCTA convention, maraming nabuo na partnership, not only to survive but to excel.
Everyone's very happy when they're here, so it's a cumulative vibe that Boracay has because of everyone who is here.
Open for business with Cesar Vallejos, Sunday, 9 p.m.
What's up guys, this is Juan Coeli. Please catch me live this coming May 20, ngayong Sabado na yan on Letters and Music, 1 to 2 p.m. at dito lang yan sa Net 25. So, paano? Kita-kits tayo there!
Ay, sir, isa. Pero may mga checklist na po ako. ID, bank statement, yearbook, diary. Hindi pwede na po na yung
Hindi na kailangan. Lumabas na si baby.
Totoo ba na nagka-something kayo ni... Sige po, i-reveal ko na. Anong hayop ang iyak tawa? Ano? Unggoy. Bakit?
Welcome back to Mata ng Agila International. ChatGPT's OpenAI has brought artificial intelligence into the homes of many Americans. Yesterday, the company's chief executive stressed to United States lawmakers the importance of regulating the technology. In Washington, D.C., Kimi Oria has the story.
Sam Altman, the chief executive of ChatGPT's OpenAI, faced U.S. Senate Judiciary Subcommittee Tuesday. Instead of defending artificial intelligence technology, the man who has become the global face of AI was the one stressing its dangers. He urged U.S. lawmakers to put regulations in place.
OpenAI was founded on the belief that artificial intelligence has the potential to improve nearly every aspect of our lives, but also that it creates serious risks we have to work together to manage.
Altman gave his suggestion on AI regulations.
Number one, I would form a new agency that licenses any effort above a certain scale of capabilities and can take that license away and ensure compliance with safety standards. Number two, I would create a set of safety standards focused on what you said in your third hypothesis as the dangerous capability evaluations. One example that we've used in the past is looking to see if a model can self-replicate and self-exfiltrate into the wild. We can give your office a long other list of the things that we think are important there, but specific tests that a model has to pass before it can be deployed into the world. And then third, I would require independent audits.
Governments worldwide are under pressure to address the growing use of AI. This after the release of ChatGPT, a bot that can churn out human-like content in an instant, went viral. The technology both wows and worries many users. Kimi Oria for Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
A United States company has built a whole-body health scanner to help doctors understand what is happening inside a patient's body without the use of radiation or invasive procedures. Stephanie Mayo tells us more.
Only previously seen in sci-fi movies, this futuristic physical exam invented by a U.S. company called QBio scans a patient's body and provides a comprehensive picture of the status of their health. The patient is scanned in 15 minutes or less without radiation and could even be done in an open space to avoid claustrophobia. In about an hour, a patient's digital avatar in 3D will appear and generate billions of data: blood, urine, hormones, the digestive system, the heart, basically everything that is going on with the patient's health in all areas of the body. The data listed on a dashboard will be available to the patient and can even be shared by doctors around the world. The accuracy and speed of the diagnosis based on the exam will help save lives quickly.
Stephanie Mayo for Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
The NBA is off to an interesting start as Nikola Jokic dominates a finals opener with a triple-double outing, while in the Champions League, Lautaro Martinez seals the deal for Inter Milan. Henry Villanueva has the score.
In the 2023 NBA playoffs, the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Denver's Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray helped the Nuggets get past the Lakers 132-126. Jokic had a triple-double record with 34 points, 21 boards, and 14 assists, while Murray added 31 points. They survived the Lakers' late rally in the fourth quarter, after they led them by as much as 21 points. For Los Angeles, LeBron James almost made a triple-double record with 26 points, 12 boards, and 9 assists. Anthony Davis added 40 points and 10 rebounds in the Lakers' loss. Game 2 will be on Friday as Denver tries to win back-to-back on their home court. So now we kick off to the pitch of San Siro, Inter Milan reached the Champions League final for the first time in 13 years, as Argentinian striker Lautaro Martinez's goal sealed the victory over fierce rivals AC Milan at San Siro. Three-time winners Inter Milan now leads 3-0 after a disciplined second leg display, ensuring their progress. Seven-time winners AC Milan pressed for an early goal in an attempt to ignite a memorable comeback. They had to rely on goalkeeper Mike Maignan to keep alive their hopes at the other end of the pitch, with the alert Frenchman also producing a superb stop to deny Nicolo Barella before seeing the offside flag. Any hopes of a late comeback were extinguished by Lautaro Martinez's finish for just the second time ever. The Inter Milan supporters were able to enjoy a fourth win over AC Milan in a single season. The 2023 Champions League final will feature Inter Milan and either Manchester City or Real Madrid in Istanbul, Turkey on June 10, 7 p.m. local time. For sports, Henry Villanueva for Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Netflix has unveiled the second trailer for the sequel of the blockbuster action movie Extraction. Chris Hemsworth returns as Tyler Rake in Extraction 2. After barely surviving the events of the first movie, Tyler is back as the Australian Black OPS or Ops mercenary. He was tasked with another deadly mission, rescuing the battered family of a ruthless Georgian gangster from the prison where they are being held. Hemsworth reunites with director Sam Hargrave, with the Russo brothers producing and Joe Russo writing. Golshifteh Farahani reprises her role from the first film with Adam Bessa, Olga Kurylenkov, Daniel Bernhardt, and Tinatin Dalkishvili. This is a sequel to the first film that was shown in 2020. Extraction 2 will be released on June 16 on Netflix. An American actor, Johnny Depp, cements his comeback in Cannes 2023. Upon arriving on the red carpet, Depp received an ecstatic 7-minute standing ovation in Cannes 2023's opening night film, Jean de Barry. In the film, Depp played the role of the French monarch, King Louis XV. Jean de Barry is a biographical drama written, directed, and produced by Mai Wen, and also stars herself in the lead role. Last 2020, Depp had a legal battle with his ex-wife, Amber Heard. And 5-member Pinoy pop group BGYO joins the Grammy's annual Many Sounds of Asian Pop feature article. The list includes 10 iconic Asian artists and performers like BTS, Blackpink, and Puma Vipurit. In the article, BGYO members Akira, JL, Nate, Mickey, and Jello redefine what it means to be a boy band in the Philippines. The group was formed in the year 2018 and officially debuted in 2021. BGYO stands for becoming the change, going further, you and I, originally Filipino. The quintet showcases genres such as pop, R&B, with lyrics about self-love, empowerment, and hope. Nepali climber Kamirita Sherpa has scaled Mount Everest for the 26th time. He reclaims the record for the most summits of the world's highest mountain. Dubbed the Everest Man, Kamirita Sherpa has been a guide for more than 2 decades. He first climbed the nearly 9,000-meter peak in 1994 for a commercial expedition. Since then, he has climbed Everest almost every year. Several times, he led a rope-fixing team to climb the world's highest point. Growing up, Sherpa watched his father and brother join expeditions as mountain guides and soon followed in their footsteps. And thus, the south of France revealed the beauty of Europe. Let's follow our UK correspondent, Ryan Florentino, as he takes his tour.
The deep blue waters of the Côte d'Azur are the dramatic backdrop for the elegant country of Nice. I'm Ryan Florentino. Follow me as we tour and explore along the French Riviera. Only a 2-hour plane journey from the United Kingdom, Nice is found in the south of France, with its airport also being a 25-minute tram ride to the city centre. One of the best things for tourists in Nice is the ease of commuting. The city's tram and bus lines can be used for only €5, giving you one-day unlimited access around the stunning city. Within walking distance, you can turn back time by exploring Old Nice. Take a stroll between the tall, rustic European architecture of old and immerse yourself in the past of Nice. Breakfast is served, with local bakeries found on almost every street. Indulge in fresh bread with your favorite savory fillings. A 40-minute bus ride takes us from the city center up the mountains and to the spectacular peak of the Ez village. Amazing architecture is found even on this mountainscape, and on the pinnacle is Le Jardin Exotique, a botanical garden. The extensive train line stretches all along the coast, allowing easy access to all the best locations. Next, I took the train from Niceville to Cannes and then Antibes. In the town of Antibes, you can find the Musée Picasso. Take a look at the pieces made by the great artist. The traveling does not stop here. 30 minutes is all it takes by train from Niceville station to Monaco Monte Carlo, home to the famous Casino de Monte Carlo and racecar circuit de Monaco. Make sure to bring plenty of water, as this city has many climbs and stairs. This is Ryan Florentino, London Bureau for Mata ng Agila, trusted, connected, on point.
And to help you get through this week, here's a quote from English writer and philosopher Aldous Huxley. The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. And that's a wrap for tonight's news. Catch the latest updates on our social media channels. I am Ricky Mathay. Stay tuned for tonight's episode of Counterpoint with attorney Salvador Sal Panelo and power couple Orly and Angela Francisco of Arternitas Chapels. This is Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.